Hi, Nathan. Ken and I got a hold of me and said you needed some help with some of your math exercises. So, all right, let's take a look at these. So I'm just looks like what you were having trouble with is solving linear equations where you have variables on both sides of the equal sign. So let's step back and lay a little bit of foundation here. So you probably remember that when we're dealing with linear equations, if we had something like 3x minus 4 equals, say, 11. All right. Well, the way we would go about solving this, ultimately, we want to get x all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So what we need to start doing is stripping away everything except that x. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to add 4 to both sides of the equation. So what's going to happen is these are going to negate one another. Then we're left with 3x equals 15. Divide by 3 on both sides. We're left with x equals 5. All right, so that's probably review for you. But this same idea can be used in something a little more complex. So let's say we had, how about 4x plus 5 equals 2x minus 3. Well, the first thing we need to start doing here, remember the end game is still the same. We want to get x by itself on one side of the equal sign and then have some numerical value on the other side. But right now, everything is kind of scattered all over the place. So what we need to start doing is moving things around so we can get to this kind of structure. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start moving things around. These will negate. I'm left with 4x equals 2x minus 8. And then I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. These will negate. And I'm left with 4x minus 2x is going to be 2x equals negative 8. Divide by negative 2, or sorry, divide by 2. And then we're left with x equals negative 4. Now we can take this negative 4 and plug it back into the original exercise. So we had 4 times negative 4 plus 5 equals 2 times negative 4 minus 3. So if we go ahead and start evaluating this, we're going to have negative 16 plus 5, negative 8 minus 3. Continue simplifying. Negative 16 plus 5 gives us negative 11. Negative 8 subtract 3 is negative 11. And that is a true statement. All right. So another way we could think about this, when I'm working with my students, I talk about this game or this idea. I call it the nightclub game. So if we had, I'm going to make one up here, 5x plus 2 equals 7x minus 3. So what we want to do is we want to decide which side of the equation is going to have our letters, our variables, and which side is going to have our constants. So I like to always have my variables on the left. That's just kind of how I roll. So I'm going to put all my variables on the left side. All my constants are going to be on the right. So So I got a security guard. Security guard, he's the equal sign. He's going to come over here. He's going to start checking IDs, and he says, okay, you've got a variable. You get to stay here. Oh, you don't have a variable. Well, you can't stay here. You got to go to the other place across the street. So we're going to subtract that 2 over to the opposite side. Still negates. I have 5x equals 7x minus 5. So now the equal sign comes over here and starts checking IDs, and he says, okay, well, whoa, you got a variable. You belong over on this side. So we're going to subtract it over. That's going to negate. So we're left with negative 2x equals negative 5. Now notice all my variables are on the left. My constants are on the right. Now all I have to do is divide away that coefficient, and I'm going to be left with x equals 5/2. If you prefer mixed numbers, 2.5. Okay. So let's try one that is maybe a little more complicated. If we had, let's say, 3 times the quantity, let's say 2x minus 4 equals, let's say, negative 4 times the quantity x plus 3. Okay. Well, excuse me. First thing we need to do before we start shuffling things around is we have to get rid of these grouping symbols. So the way we do that is we're going to distribute. So I'm going to multiply the 3 into both terms inside the grouping symbol. So this is going to give me 6x and a negative 12. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to have a negative 4x minus 3, because negative times a positive gives us a negative. So now we're right back to where we were in the previous exercise. We can put our variables on the left, our constants on the right. And let's see here. So we're going to add 4x to both sides. That's going to give us 10x. And then we will add 12 to both sides. That's going to give us 9. We'll divide away the coefficient, and we're left with x equals 9/10. All right, let's try one more. How about, let's say, negative 2. All right, so once again, we need to do some distribution here to clear out our grouping symbols. So negative 2 times the 3x is going to give me a negative 6x. Negative 2 times a positive 6 is going to give me a negative 12. And then we're just going to bring down that plus 5. And we distribute, we'll have negative 10x. We'll have 15, and we'll just bring down the -8. So now let's start simplifying. So on each side of the equation, I'm going to combine like terms where I can. So I'll have a -6x, -12 plus 5 is going to be a -7, -7. 15 minus 8 is going to be 7. Okay, so now we can start moving things around. So let's see here. We're going to add 7 to both sides. Those negate one another. So I'm left with -6x equals -10x plus 14. 7 and 7 gives us 14. And then I'm going to add 10x to both sides. -6x, positive 10x, that is going to wash out to a positive 4x. Those negate. 4x equals 14. Let's divide away our coefficient. So we're left with x equals 14 fourths, but we need to reduce that fraction. So 14 and 4, they're both even. So I know I can at least divide out a 2 from top and bottom. 14 divided by 2 gives us 7. 4 divided by 2 gives us 2. So 7/2. That's a perfectly legitimate answer. But if for some reason you need to give the answer as a mixed number, 2 goes into 7 3 times with 1 left over. So either of these would be acceptable answers. So, all right, I hope that helps you. Get you back on back on track. And if you need any other help, just let Nia know, and we'll get you squared away. All righty, have a good one.